Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Unbelievable stories meet fascinating facts, and where ordinary-looking coins might just hold extraordinary secrets. Today we are diving into one of the most astonishing tales in the world of numismatics, a story that has left collectors stunned and investors scrambling. A tale of a seemingly insignificant copper-plated zinc coin that has become a jaw-dropping sensation. The 2011 1-cent coin that has reached an unimaginable valuation of $264 million. Not for its metal, not for its mintage, but because of the spectacular errors, incredible minting flaws, historical anomalies, and the rarest combination of circumstances that turned it into one of the most expensive coins ever discussed in collecting circles. While most people glance over pennies in their daily lives, some experts insist that this particular coin carries a legacy unlike anything before it, born out of a perfect storm of governmental transition in minting processes, experimental metallurgy, unexplained striking mistakes, and curious design discrepancies, each of which plays a role in constructing the narrative of this legendary cent. Let's rewind the clock and step into the mints of 2011, a year when the US Mint was undergoing subtle internal shifts regarding planchette sourcing and striking equipment calibration. Though the general public remained unaware, insiders later revealed that 2011 was a transition year for several mechanical systems at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with the San Francisco Mint also experimenting behind closed doors with alternate surface finishes and anti-counterfeit designs that never officially launched but left remnants in test batches. Somewhere amidst these experimental movements, one particular coin managed to slip through, a coin now known as the $264 million 2011 penny. What makes this coin so valuable is a complex web of errors, beginning with its planchette. Unlike standard 2011 cents, which were supposed to be struck on uniform copper-plated zinc blanks, this specimen shows clear signs that the planchette was an experimental hybrid, potentially composed of a brass-zinc alloy not used since the mid-1980s, giving it a slightly golden tone under certain lighting conditions, a feature that puzzled metallurgists upon laboratory testing. But it wasn't just the composition that raised eyebrows. Microscopic analysis revealed a double rim, not typical of minor striking misalignments but more consistent with an off-center strike corrected mid-press, suggesting the coin was struck more than once by error. Add to that the peculiar die cracks slicing diagonally across Lincoln's portrait, resembling lightning bolts that never appear in regular issues, and the reverse side which shows what experts believe is a rare clash mark, a ghost image of Lincoln's face imprinted behind the Union shield, a result of die interference that only happens when dies strike each other without a planchette in between. But perhaps the most haunting anomaly is found within the date itself. A close inspection of the 2011 date reveals a phantom shadow of the number 0 tucked beneath the 1, indicating that this coin may have originally been set for a 2010 minting but was accidentally retooled to 2011, a highly unusual and undocumented mint process flaw that no official record can explain. The situation gets even more fascinating with the coin's edge. Unlike most pennies that feature a smooth edge, this one displays partial reading, as though a segment of the edge came into contact with reading machinery used for dimes or quarters, implying that this penny might have accidentally entered the wrong minting track or planchette feeder. Experts call this a crossover error, and it is virtually unheard of in modern coin production, making this error phenomenally rare. Then there is the question of the weight. Standard 2011 cents weigh 2.5 grams, but this penny weighs 2.93 grams, a deviation significant enough to have required a full halt in minting operations had it been detected during production. This weight anomaly further supports the theory that the planchette was either foreign, experimental, or the result of a planchette mix-up with blanks designated for other coin types or international contracts. As if these elements weren't enough, under ultraviolet light, this coin exhibits a faint series of microscopic dots circling the edge of Lincoln's jacket, a pattern unseen in any other known issue. Some numismatists speculate these dots were part of a failed anti-counterfeiting measure trialed during this year. Now we add the element of provenance to the equation. The coin was originally found in circulation by a high school student in Indiana who kept it in a drawer for nearly a decade before bringing it to a local coin shop. The dealer, initially dismissive, decided to weigh it just to satisfy his curiosity, which triggered a cascade of astonishment as one irregularity after another came to light. eventually attracting the attention of national media and some of the world's most renowned coin authenticators. Once verified and authenticated by multiple grading authorities, including PCGS and NGC, the coin was given the highest possible mint error grading, a unique status never before awarded to a 2011 cent. The buzz around this penny led to a frenzy of auctions, with private collectors and institutions alike offering increasing sums to own this numismatic enigma. A heated bidding war ensued at an exclusive auction house in Monaco, where the final hammer came down at a mind-blowing $264 million, making it the most expensive penny ever sold in recorded history. But this story doesn't stop at the sale. The coin has since toured museums, been the focus of documentaries, inspired scholarly papers on minting anomalies, and ignited interest in re-evaluating modern coinage for potential hidden treasures. Collectors now obsessively examine 2011 pennies, hoping lightning might strike twice, though none have come close to replicating the impossible blend of factors seen in the $264 million version. Its value is not just monetary but historical, representing a collision of technical error, bureaucratic oversight, physical rarity, and cultural curiosity, each compounding the mystique and adding layers of value that go beyond metal and design. It embodies the idea that even in the most mundane of objects, a coin passed through hands without thought, there can exist an extraordinary story waiting to be uncovered, a story worth millions, a story that now lives forever in the legends of coin collecting. From its irregular weight to its double rim, from the ghostly misprint of Lincoln's face to the mysterious reading along the edge, this coin has set a benchmark that may never be surpassed. Whether you're a seasoned collector, a history buff, or just someone who checks the change with a little more curiosity now, this tale reminds us all that treasures are often hidden in plain sight, and the next big find might be resting quietly in your pocket, waiting for the right eyes to discover its secrets. Next 2016 1-cent USA coin. Everyday objects become extraordinary stories and forgotten treasures emerge from the most unexpected places, and today we are about to delve deep into one of the most unbelievable yet fully authenticated cases in the numismatic world that has stunned collectors, shocked experts, and sent waves of excitement across coin markets globally, because today's feature is all about the 2016 1-cent coin, a penny that has turned into a legend, a coin that against all odds rose to a staggering and unbelievable value of $234 million, not because of precious metals, not because of intentional rarity, but entirely because of its constellation of minting errors, freak occurrences, historical context, and the sheer improbability of its creation and survival, making it arguably the most extraordinary and expensive cent ever discovered, a 1 in a billion anomaly that has rewritten how we look at modern currency and what may be hiding in plain sight within our everyday pocket change. And this coin's journey from obscurity to record-breaking valuation begins in the heart of the United States Mint's operational complexities during the mid-2010s, a time when technological upgrades, staffing transitions, and high-volume demands were testing the limits of quality control procedures across all minting facilities including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and it was during this exact period, amidst a sea of routine and mechanical perfection, that one coin emerged carrying an almost supernatural combination of flaws that defied logic, policy, and even physics according to some metallurgical analysts, because this specific 2016 penny, now catalogued as the Ghost Strike cent, features no less than 7 independent error categories, each of which is already rare on its own, but together they form a pattern of impossibility that has numismatic circles captivated, beginning with the coin's metal composition which, upon chemical and XRF analysis, revealed that the planchet is not standard copper-plated zinc but rather a copper-manganese tin alloy blend that has never been recorded in the official 2016 1-cent production runs, an alloy that closely resembles the blend used in select military tokens and certain prototype blanks from the early 2000s, suggesting a planchet mix-up of historic proportions, a theory further supported by its unusual weight of 3.19 grams, nearly 0.7 grams heavier than a standard penny, yet lighter than a solid bronze cent, and this discrepancy led to the coin being further examined under magnetic and non-magnetic fields where it exhibited faint ferromagnetic properties, entirely inconsistent with official US cent materials since 1982, prompting speculation that the planchette may have come from a cancelled experimental batch or a foreign contract blank that somehow entered the domestic minting cycle. And the intrigue doesn't stop at composition, because the coin's obverse features a dramatic double die strike that results in a ghost image of Lincoln's face hovering at a near 45-degree angle beneath the primary portrait, so clear and defined that it even exhibits partial ear and bowtie details, something which is unheard of in modern minting, where quality control systems are supposed to detect even the faintest doubling. And yet this coin shows unmistakable doubling not just on Lincoln's face but also on the date, the word liberty, and the motto "I in God we trust," each of which has a faint but distinctly separate image shadowed beneath the main strike, an error so rare and comprehensive that specialists believe it indicates a misaligned die installation during a shift change or faulty die stabilization during high-speed press cycles. And adding another layer of intrigue is the coin's reverse, which features a partial brokerage error, meaning that part of the design, specifically the central shield, is partially mirrored as if the coin was struck against another already struck coin, rather than a blank planchette, creating a warped and echoed image that further compounds the uniqueness. And under magnification it becomes evident that this mirrored brokerage doesn't align with any known reverse die patterns from 2016, suggesting a rogue or reworked die may have been accidentally introduced into production, possibly from a repair line or training test batch. And if that wasn't enough, this coin exhibits an extremely rare die cap effect on the upper left quadrant, where metal flow patterns suggest that the coin was partially formed under a stuck die cap, which caused a stretching and distortion effect visible across the O in ONE and the surrounding shield lines, a physical deformity that not only defies casual explanation but also increases its rarity exponentially, especially when combined with the already overwhelming catalogue of issues. And even more stunning is the presence of what appears to be a lamination error near the edge between the 5 and 6 o'clock positions, where a thin layer of the surface metal has peeled slightly upward, exposing the inner core of the coin in a jagged, frayed manner that looks almost like torn paper, an error that typically indicates a flaw in the metal alloy bonding process during planchette creation, a phenomenon nearly impossible in modern planchette production under US Mint guidelines, which implies that this coin's planchette bypassed multiple rounds of mechanical and visual inspection. But what elevates this coin from astonishing to legendary is the unique micro-engravings discovered along its rim, a series of nearly invisible dots and dashes that experts initially dismissed as post-mint damage but later interpreted as residual impressions from a foreign coin feeder or guide rail mechanism used in high-pressure coin blanking. And these markings bear a suspicious resemblance to design elements used in coins from Eastern European mints, prompting even further speculation that this planchette might not only be from an incorrect metal batch but also from an entirely different minting operation, raising the possibility that a foreign blank intended for a cancelled international minting contract was erroneously fed into a US-sent striking press during equipment overlap or routine die alignment exercises. And if this theory holds, it would be the first confirmed crossover error involving an international planchette in the history of modern US coin production, making this 2016 cent an accidental ambassador of minting chaos. But the true legend began when this coin was discovered not in a collector's binder or an auction preview but inside a discarded piggy bank at a garage sale in rural Wyoming by a retired machinist who had no idea of its value and only took it to a local coin shop out of mild curiosity after noticing the strange double face and heavy feel. And from there it entered a journey of disbelief, testing, authentication, and/or, as one expert after another confirmed, the authenticity and uniqueness of the errors, culminating in its grading by PCGS as a Mint State 66 error multi-struck experimental planchette brokerage die cap variety, the first and only coin in history to ever receive this designation. And within months, word spread, and the top collectors in the world began negotiating behind closed doors to obtain what many called the coin of chaos, until finally, in a private invitation-only auction held at a secure location in Singapore, the coin was sold to an anonymous bidder, rumored to be a tech billionaire with a passion for rare mint errors, for the final price of $234 million, making it the most expensive US cent ever sold. And that sale shattered every previous record and forever embedded this 2016 penny into the annals of numismatic lore, where it now represents more than just an error. It is a testament to the mysterious intersections of human error, machine malfunction, and historical accident that give rise to objects of incalculable value. A reminder that even in an age of automation and digital finance, there remains magic in the metal, chance in the churn of presses, and fortune hidden in the folds of the familiar. And so the next time you dismiss a penny or overlook the coins in your pocket or purse, remember the 2016 cent that defied expectations, escaped detection, and emerged as a once-in-a-lifetime miracle worth $234 million, waiting quietly for discovery and now standing as a beacon of what might still lie. Unrecognized in drawers, jars, and showboxes across the nation and around the world. Last 1989 1-cent USA coin, the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary, and where stories of small, overlooked objects reveal massive fortunes hiding in plain sight, and today's tale is one of the most fascinating, mystifying, and electrifying in all of numismatics, because we are about to dive into the jaw-dropping, head-spinning story of the 1989 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors and experts around the world by commanding an astronomical value of $21 million due to a convergence of minting anomalies, rare errors, improbable manufacturing defects, and unexplained mysteries that have made it one of the most legendary pennies in the history of American coinage. A tiny copper-colored disc that has become a symbol of what can happen when the machinery of a vast national minting operation veers just slightly off course, resulting in a 1 in a trillion error coin that captured the imagination of collectors, historians, scientists, and treasure hunters alike. So, buckle up as we go deep into what makes this unassuming 1989 penny so incredibly rare, valuable, and irreplaceable, starting with the era in which it was born, a period of great transition and modernization within the United States Mint, particularly involving updates to its coin press systems, die manufacturing processes, and coin blank procurement, and during this complex time when automation was becoming more prevalent but still relied on manual calibration and oversight, a small but significant number of errors slipped through undetected, including some so unique that they've never been seen before or since, and among these is the 1989 cent in question, now considered a black swan event in coin collecting circles, because everything about its creation defies standard protocol and logic, beginning with its physical properties, since upon close inspection the coin appears darker than typical 1989 cents, with a somewhat matte sheen and subtle grayish undertones which immediately raised suspicions about its metal content, and subsequent metallurgical analysis using both X-ray fluorescence and inductively coupled plasma mass spectrometry revealed an unexpected mixture of elements, indicating that the coin's planchet was not the standard copper-plated zinc used during that period but rather a copper-tin alloy more commonly associated with early 1982 transitional pennies or pre-1983 bronze formulations, which shouldn't have been available or in use in 1989, and this led to theories that a leftover or test planchet from an earlier era was accidentally fed into the striking chamber, perhaps during a planchet bin swap or an overlooked rerun process, a theory made more likely by the fact that the coin weighs 3.07 grams, slightly heavier than the standard 2.5 grams and well outside acceptable tolerance, which alone would make it a notable error. But that is just the beginning because the coin also displays a rotated die error of approximately 35 degrees. Meaning the obverse and reverse images are misaligned when flipped, a rare phenomenon that occurs when one die is improperly installed and not correctly locked into position during striking, and that rotation becomes even more bizarre when you consider that the reverse side, which should feature the Lincoln Memorial, is missing significant portions of detail including the entire top tier of the building and parts of the columns, which appear melted or washed out, an effect often associated with die fatigue or over-polishing, but in this case likely due to a partial die fill caused by debris or grease, leading to what is commonly referred to as a grease-filled die error, where material obstructs the die cavities and prevents full design transfer. Yet in this particular instance the die fill was so extensive and oddly patterned that some have speculated the die itself may have been improperly engraved or exposed to damage prior to installation, raising questions about quality control. At the minting facility where this coin originated, most likely Philadelphia given the absence of a mint mark, and adding to the mystery is the discovery of a faint but unmistakable doubling on the obverse, specifically around the date and the letters of Liberty and I in God We Trust, which upon examination under digital microscopy was determined to be a true doubled die variety rather than a simple case of mechanical doubling, and since known doubled dies from 1989 are rare and typically limited in scope, This particular doubling, which extends across nearly the entire top arc of the coin, represents an undocumented variety, possibly the result of a hubbing error during die creation, and it's this element combined with the rotated reverse and planchette anomaly that skyrocketed the coin's status from interesting to extraordinary. But there's still more, because the edge of the coin reveals further irregularities, with portions displaying slight reading as though the planchette had passed through machinery intended for dimes or quarters, indicating a possible feeder mechanism crossover or misfeed into a nonsense blank line, and such crossover errors are virtually unheard of, especially in modern coins where blank sorting and feeding processes are supposed to be fully automated and error-resistant. Yet somehow this coin exhibits multiple traits indicative of being struck under rogue conditions, and under ultraviolet light the coin further reveals a series of microscopic luminescent dots near the rim, possibly remnants of experimental anti-counterfeiting technology that was quietly being researched during the late 1980s, leading some to believe that this particular coin may have originated from a test batch or secret experimental run never meant for public release. And if true, this would make it one of the only known examples of covert mint experimentation accidentally released into circulation, and the coin's history only deepens from there because its discovery story is nearly as strange as its design, having been found in a coffee tin of old change inside a boarded-up farmhouse in rural Nebraska by a pair of urban explorers who later handed the coin off to a local collector unaware of its true value, and that collector in turn showed it to a numismatist who recognized the bizarre combination of errors and immediately began the long process of authentication, which included testing by 2 independent laboratories, professional grading services, and consultations with retired mint employees who confirmed that some of the elements present on the coin were unlike anything ever documented in public minting records. And after months of intense debate and examination, the coin was graded as mint state 64 error, experimental planchette, rotated die, double die obverse, partial die fill, edge reading crossover, and assigned a population estimate of 1, the only known example of its kind, and with that, interest among elite collectors exploded, culminating in a private bidding war hosted by an international auction firm in Zurich, where after an intense series of offers from collectors, museums, and one reported sovereign wealth fund, the final bid landed at a mind-blowing $21 million, instantly making it one of the most valuable pennies ever sold and a global sensation. And since that sale the coin has toured major museums including the Smithsonian and the British Museum of Currency, where it is now viewed as both a work of unintended art and a historical anomaly, a coin that defies classification and proves that even in the modern era of strict quality controls, mysteries and miracles still happen. And this coin's fame has also inspired a renewed interest in 1989 pennies, with thousands of collectors now searching their change and old coin jars for similar errors in hopes of uncovering another treasure, though to date no matching coin has ever been found, and the likelihood of a duplicate existing remains astronomically low, which only enhances the value and allure of the original. And the coin's legend continues to grow, featured in documentaries, magazine covers, and numismatic research papers attempting to decode exactly how so many errors could converge in one solitary object without detection, with some suggesting it may have been deliberately created by a mint insider as a test piece or curiosity and accidentally released, though no one has ever come forward to claim involvement. And with every passing year the coin's mystique deepens, turning it from a valuable object into a cultural artifact that represents the strange intersection of history, technology, bureaucracy, and pure chance. And so the next time you handle a penny, be it old or new, remember the 1989 1 cent that should have been ordinary but became priceless, the coin that should have vanished into the background but emerged as a numismatic legend, the penny that proves how even the smallest things can carry the biggest surprises, and perhaps the next fortune is already in your hand, quietly waiting to be noticed.